The Great Escape is a firm favourite in the UK. It's the story of a mass breakout from a prisoner of war camp during World War II. Owen Bennett-Jones has been talking to the last man left alive who took part in the real escape attempt on which the film is based.
It's Friday, the 24th of March, 1944. A moonless night south of Berlin. And 10 metres underground, some captured airmen, prisoners of war, are lying on their stomachs in a narrow sandy tunnel that had taken months to dig. Above them is their prisoner of war camp Stalag Luft 3, and ahead, freedom. Flight Lieutenant Ken Rees, a Welsh pilot shot down over Norway, is one of the men in the tunnel.
Well, we were all timed, when you were to go out, and there were certain ones of us. I happened to be one of them because I'd been digging the tunnel. You'd pull 20 through and go out yourself.
The tunnel was full, presumably, of people, all lined up waiting to go, all in civilian clothes?
Civilian-ish. I wanted to alter my RAF uniform type of thing. So I boiled with some book bindings. I thought that's the way to get the dye out. And it was pretty ghastly.
He may have been scruffy, but the actions of Ken Rees and his fellow prisoners have become celebrated. He was taking part in the Great Escape. The 1963 film portraying their efforts has become part of modern British folklore. Many prisoners of war were such inveterate escapers that the Germans designed camps that were ever more secure. Stalag Luft 3 had prisoners' huts raised off the ground and microphones placed in the earth. But still, in the first 2 years of the camp's existence, the Germans discovered over 90 attempted escape tunnels. And then the prisoners came up with a new plan. Dig 3 more, deeper and longer than anything they tried before. They were to be called Tom, Dick and Harry. The diggers had a problem, though. Walking around the camp in dirty uniform would have given them away. The solution? Wear nothing at all.
I often was digging in the nude, as it were, because the stuff we had down there, long johns, vests with sleeves on. After a few months, weeks, I suppose, it's a bit of a pong, because they had no means of washing or drying them. So we finished off just in the nude digging.
How deep were you?
A hell of a long way down. You kind of think suddenly, if the tunnel kind of collapses, it's quite a job trying to dig down to us. We decided not to worry too much about that.
Were you frightened?
Not really, no.
I think people think that what you did was incredibly brave.
Well, yes, but we didn't really think that way at all. Didn't run around saying, I'm brave.
When the big night came, the escapees were dogged by bad luck. They were in the middle of the coldest March for 30 years. There was nearly 2 metres of snow. An Allied air raid on Berlin meant there was a blackout, and the makeshift lights in the tunnel went out, causing delays. But most serious of all, the tunnel came up a bit short of the forest outside the camp. Still, 76 men got free. But then a German guard came close. He almost walked into the hole before noticing it, but then he saw it and fired a warning shot. Beneath him, Ken Rees was still in the tunnel, waiting his turn to get out, and he knew he'd missed his chance to escape.
Stupid guard went and spoiled it all.
Let me just ask you, before the guard discovered what you were doing, you must have been so excited. I mean, you were nearly out.
Oh, yes. Yes, it was a wonderful feeling. In actual fact, our thing was, here's a chance of getting home. I thought, right, if I get out here, I'll be home.
But then, after the discovery, you must have felt...
You were down in the dumps a while, but it didn't last long. Here's to the next time type of thing. And you started thinking of perhaps other ways to get out.
But 76 men were out, spreading in all directions. Many of those that spoke German went for the railway station. The others tramped through the snow, aiming for Switzerland or Sweden or any other place they thought might lead them back to Britain. But the Germans mounted a massive nationwide manhunt. There were roadblocks and checks in the hotels, searches of farm buildings and increased border patrols. And of the 76, 73 were captured. For the escapees, it was a terribly disappointing result. But there was much worse to come.
Hitler said, shoot the lot. And I think it was Göring. One of them said, well, steady on, Führer. They've got some of our prisoners, etc., etc. It's a bit silly to just start shooting all prisoners. So he said, right, settle for 50. We did hear that they were taken out in 2s and 3s in cars. 50 was shot.
You must have lost some people you knew very well.
Oh, yes. Well, from our room. Johnny Bull was a particular friend of mine, which is all rather sad, because his wife had a baby after he was shot down. And then that happened.
By June, news of the executions had filtered back to London, and at the church in Trafalgar Square, St. Martin's in the Fields, there was a memorial service.
They still fought on, doing, as it has been well said, their duty twice over. Into thy holy keeping we commend our souls.
The British Foreign Secretary Anthony Eden vowed to Parliament that at the end of the war the killers would be brought to justice. And with the collapse of Germany, a massive effort was made to find the Gestapo officers who'd carried out the murders. Eventually 13 were hanged, including one who quite openly described the last moments of an Australian airman, Jimmy Catanack. Pretending he was driving him back to the camp, the Gestapo officer stopped the car, telling Catanack he could stretch his legs. He led him into a meadow and said, "And now I am ordered to shoot you." "Why?" Catanack replied. It was the last thing he said.
Yes, that really shook us, actually. A lot of good characters amongst them. Takes you back a bit, doesn't it? Or takes me back a bit.
Was it worth it?
The answer is, I suppose, obviously is no. But I think probably the same thing would happen again. You'd all think I'm going to be the one of the three that gets home, type of thing.
And the incredible truth is that had that guard discovered the tunnel 5 minutes later, you may not be sitting here in this chair. You may have been shot in a forest in Germany.
Yeah, been nasty, that, hadn't it? Could have happened, I suppose. They might have missed.
Ken Rees, ending witness from Owen Bennett-Jones.